AFC West. Chargers and the Broncos. Jim Harbaugh getting his guy ready. Broncos, meanwhile, looking to clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2015. And Bart, it looked earlier that they're going to do it. They're up 14-10, and Bo Nix is busy.
Bo Nix was in his bag in the first half. 15 for 21 for 155, 2 tutties.
Broncos lead at 21-10, and it looks like it's going to stay that way into the half. And then a bunch of crazy things happen, and much of it manufactured by Jim Harbaugh. Called a timeout with 8 seconds left, forced them to punt. Now we've got fair catch interference. Now we have an untimed down after the 15 yards are ticked on, and that brings up the fair catch kick, a little-known codicil in the Faber College Constitution, a little-known rule. Some people get it. The Chargers with an untimed down, Cameron Dicker from 57 yards, and they steal 3 points. It's the first player since Ray Wersching in 1976 to make a fair catch kick, and the Chargers get the momentum, and they really ride that into the second half.
Absolutely. You see Justin Herbert in his back finding Darius Davis in the back of the end zone, and it was all downhill from here, Green.
Chargers get a great throw by Herbert, and then they're going to go for the 2, and look at the concentration on the 2-point conversion.
Oh, man, Jesse Palmer, every week is somebody making a great catch. The concentration also to get the feet down, stay in bounds, and not bobble it on the ground. Outstanding work.
That happened to be Josh Palmer.
Joshua Palmer, outstanding catch. Chargers take the lead. Now, 4 minutes to go. This is with a bad ankle. Look at Herbert on a 3rd and 10, converting with his legs in a gain of 16. Move the chains. Very next play. Here comes Gus. Look at the moves.
I tell you what, Gus has been a revelation with no J.K. Dobbins for her to close the game.
43 yards on the carry. He would score 2 touchdowns on the night. 2 plays later, 2nd and 13. How about the shovel pass from Herbert? Creativity, Hassan Haskins. They're not gonna get him. Herbert goes 284, 2 touchdowns, and the Chargers come from behind and get the win by a touchdown. Harbaugh afterwards fired up.
How about the Chargers? No! Hold it down. We will see you Monday. Who could possibly have it better than us?
Come on. I mean, what can you say? That's
his enthusiasm. It's amazing that he can take a college concept, who's got it better than us, nobody, and the whole team just buys in. They have embodied who Harbaugh is as a coach, and he's one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah, and Grady, you mentioned it in the highlights, but when you strip it away, he's also a football genius. He calls timeout with 8 seconds to go. Most coaches probably don't do that.
Forcing a punt.
Yeah, and next thing you know, you have 3 points. And when these games are so close, those little things matter. So, I mean, I know he's quirky and all that. He's a great football coach and a great tactician.
I don't even think it's little. That team went into halftime fired up because they had just pulled off something that probably most of them didn't even know about.
Right.
Including Harbaugh. It looked like he knew. It looked like he didn't know the rule either.
Like people need to realize, like the field goal was 57 yards because they don't have to snap it. It's a free kick. Otherwise, it's 65 yards and you probably don't try it. So the whole entire sequence was unbelievable. They have to punt because he calls a timeout. They get the kick-catch interference.
And it's untimed down because it ended on a penalty.
But so for people who don't know, you call a fair catch, you have the right to kick it from the spot. Not snap it back 8 yards, but kick it from the spot. And because they have the 15-yard penalty.
No, there's no defense.
No, because they can't line up close. They can return it.
And that's why they have to cover. That's why they have to cover the kick as well.
But yeah, it was sensational. I'm watching it with my son, who's a kicker. I've never seen him so fired up watching football games.
It was interesting. To Dan's point, at first, after that play happened, you see Herbert coming out for the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And then they call the timeout. They're like, well, wait a second, no. And the fact that you can't block it makes it even.
The value of elite coaching in the NFL is on display. I was reading a story about it this morning, and one of the Chargers special teams players was saying they practice this. The special teams coach knows the rule, and they're ready for it. And there they were, and they steal the 3 points, and away they go. Last night, let's very quickly, what did last night mean for the AFC?
It's not over yet for some of these teams. Now, like the Cincinnati Bengals' chances to make the playoffs went from 3% to almost 10%. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but why did it such big a jump at this point in the year when they're 2.5 games behind? They play the Broncos next week. If the Cincinnati Bengals win this week against Cleveland, beat Denver next week, then they're a game back with the tiebreaker going into the final week. The Broncos have to play the Chiefs Bengals play the Steelers. Nothing's easy there, but the Colts, Dolphins, Bengals at 6-8, still alive as a result of last night's game.
Cincinnati, I think, is the one everyone has their eyes on all of that. And let's just circle it back to where it began here before we move on to other matters. I said it when they hired him. Jim Harbaugh will have that team in the Super Bowl in 3 years, and I think he is ahead of schedule. This is a team that won 5 games last year, I believe. Yep. They had to cut like half their team in salary cap. This was supposed to be like the dip year and coming back, and look where Harbaugh has that.
Greedy, if we're sitting here, the four of us, 5 weeks from today, talking about the